So Zack Polanski has had a great year, and what's impressive about this is that he did it in a few months. So in a year in which Starmer has gone from bad to worse, Polanski has risen in popularity and boosted the Green Party to become the most popular it's ever been. Zack promised bold leadership, something those of us on the left have been calling for, a kind of leadership that's fit for 2025, not timid, not reserved, but aggressive, and yes, sometimes unafraid to go personal. Now, Jeremy Corbyn's Labour leadership back in 2015, he was sticking to the arguments. His I don't do personal was clearly suited more back then than it is now. Politics has become more toxic, and people, I think, have been looking for a leader who can weather the storm instead of trying to bypass it completely. And that is exactly what Zack has done, and it's completely paid off. In January this year, YouGov had the Green Party on 9%, and this was at a time when Labour was still in the lead and was still polling above Reform. The increase in Green Party support had already begun. In the 2024 general election, the Greens quadrupled their seats, scored 6.7% in vote share, the best ever for the party. And the Greens were capitalising off Labour moving to the right. But one could say that, after 40 years of the party existing, 6.7% and 4 seats is simply not enough, and there needs to be more urgency. And the Greens, in a July YouGov poll, managed to reach 12%. But since Zack took over, the Greens have been polling between 12 and 19%. This latest YouGov poll has the Greens on 17% above the Conservatives. And it's worth noting that the Greens' increase in support has been across many different pollsters. It's not just YouGov. Some polling companies are more obviously reliable than others. But this latest Lord Ashcroft poll in December has the Greens at 19%, and that is the highest they have ever been. And of course, they're beating the Labour Party. To really measure the success of the party, this poll shows the increase and decrease in support of all parties over the year. So the Greens have had the biggest surge of 9%, whilst Labour are down 8%, and Reform, they've only had an increase of 3%. So really, it looks like their support has flatlined whilst the Greens continue to rise. And it's not just party polling. Zack Polanski is the most popular leader. Whilst Keir Starmer is widely disliked, everyone hates him, Zack has a -1% favourability rating. But this is actually insanely good for a politician, as no one goes into positive ratings. Politics is very unpopular. No one trusts them. So to have almost even scoring is really, really impressive. Of course, that could change. But it's not just polling that's been good for Zack and the Green Party. One of the party's staple policies, the wealth tax, has been shoved into the political conversation. This has obviously been helped by Gary Stevenson, whose core mission has been taxing the rich, especially wealth. 78% of people support a wealth tax of 1% over £10 million, and 73% support a 2% wealth tax over £5 million. People have always supported higher taxes on the rich, so I think it's unlikely that Zack or the Green Party have been the ones that completely popularised it. However, they've made sure it's been debated and discussed. As of right now, a wealth tax has never been talked about more. Even at the height of the left back in 2017, only corporation taxes and increasing top-rate income taxes were talked about, but very little discussion about the unearned and passive wealth that's been accumulated. Now, polls can sometimes inflate party support. There have been instances in which, despite polling, a party hasn't been as successful. Maybe they don't perform as well in elections as polling suggests. When you answer a landline poll or an online poll, there's no real stakes. You could call someone up and they might be on that particular day very angry at another party and then go, screw it, I'm going to vote for the Greens. But that could change. But the reason why the support in the Green Party is real is the surge in membership. At the end of 2024, the Green Party membership was 58,000. Today, after Zack's win, latest figures have the Green Party on a whopping 185,000, more than the Conservatives. And the Tory party are the oldest political party, and they've just been overtaken by the Greens in a matter of months. Whilst the increase in Green support has been a team effort, the membership explosion is entirely down to Zack. And that's something that has stakes to it, because people are spending money and giving their details and actively signing up to a party. Even if you're skeptical of polls, because again, someone could say, yeah, I'm supporting the Greens, and they might not read that serious. The fact that they've surged to 185k is really impressive. It might be even more than that. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if early next year they hit 200k. Another big win is Jamie Driscoll joining the party. The former Metro Mayor is a well-respected, competent figure on the left, and he's seemingly liked across the political spectrum. I mean, he's worked with Conservative figures such as Michael Gove, and I think him joining the Greens is a massive boost. Now, you might not think that this is a positive intervention, and I don't think it's the most significant, but Deborah Meaden has come out in support of the Greens.
I worry at the moment there's sort of this black and white thing going on. You know, you're for or you're against, and that is it. We seem to have lost the ability to think about things on balance. So, but I think, so what I would like to see, I'd like to see him get more seats so he has a stronger voice. But I do like his clarity of voice. I really like his clarity of voice.
But he hates you guys, don't they? That side of politics hate
I don't
business
think he
owners.
does.
They hate entrepreneurs. They hate capitalism. They hate people making money. They think it's an evil.
I don't hear that. I don't hear that. I think he likes good business behaving well, and I like good business behaving well. You know, I think business has a responsibility. We've got a lot of issues facing us. Business can play its part, so business has a responsibility to play its part, and I agree with that.
Paying more taxes, perhaps.
Well, pay more taxes, but also for a government to come up with to help us, you know, pay more taxes.
Now, some of you might be thinking, well, the Greens have become more socialist, and while socialism isn't anti-business, left-wing politics engages in class war. So why is a multi-millionaire praising the party anything but negative? Well, politics is about popularity, and even though I'm a Marxist, a very rich person backing a party isn't something I, jump for joy over. But I think it's really good in terms of the party's image to the public. Most of the public agree with us on public ownership. People want to see a reduction in inequality. I would say people in the UK are on the left when it comes to the economy, yet most of them are not Marxists or socialists or even think in terms of class consciousness. And someone like Meaden will give them credibility. It will help dispel the myth from political opponents and the media that the Greens hate business or even hate the rich. I would say despite most people wanting the rich to pay more, I doubt they're radical and that they think being rich is a bad thing. I would say most people think aspiring to be wealthy is positive. Zack has also been on Question Time twice, both with his main opponent being Reform's Zaya Youssef, and I know this is just my opinion, but I think Zack crushed both of them. I think he put in 2 solid performances, which has made him more popular. People didn't see Zack being crushed by the right, and I think a lot of people saw strong emotive arguments from him. The appearances haven't been bad for him. It's given him more exposure, and I think that's a win. Finally, bold politics. Now, this is an incredible idea. The right wing, especially in the US, have made their own media with, JD Vance, the vice president, and many other figures regularly appear on podcasts. They don't completely bypass legacy media, but there has been a right-wing media industrial complex that hasn't been on traditional platforms, and it works. Left political figures still haven't fully embraced it until Zack. And it's not just about appearing on independent left-wing media, but left-wing politicians making their own. Zack's Bold Politics is exactly that, with amazing guests, including good friend and, of course, friend of the channel, Helena, aka No Justice MTG. Bold Politics allows people to see Zack in a much more nuanced and relaxed way instead of seeing clips from the mainstream media, often with gotchas or at least mainstream framing. Bold Politics allows Zack to frame things in his way. He has control, and it's something the left needs to catch up with the right wing. Next year, I think we'll see the Greens comfortably in the 20%. A handful of polls have put the Greens second place. I think they'll get to a point where they will start averaging in second place. But in terms of 2025, Zack Polanski has had an incredible year.